Alrighty, guys, welcome back to episode 6 of Off the Bench podcast. We're officially over 1 month in.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. Gone pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. For you guys today, we have some start bench cuts, as usual. I have some notes about the Kings.
Yeah.
Usual, a few reports I was saying.
You're going to tell me a few things about the Kings.
I have a few notes about Taylor Jenkins. We talked a bit about that last week, but I think my stance has changed a little bit since then. And then we have some breaking news as of 4 o'clock this morning.
Which we might actually start with, but it is crazy news.
And then, of course, UFC 314 this weekend, as well as other fight news that has been announced throughout the past week. So we'll touch on that as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's start off with some bench cuts.
Okay. Do you want to go first or mirror?
No, I'll come up with two really good ones. Okay.
Okay. See, I was worried about mine this week. I was struggling a little bit.
No, see, I
Can't even lie.
I've been in some time.
Always alert.
I'm really keen. All right. So I've got one.
Get set there.
I've got one that's teams, and then I've got a players based on some of their best seasons. Okay, it'll make sense when I tell you.
Okay. More first.
This one, just a little warm-up one. Start bench cut, the 96-97 Bulls.
Yep.
The 16-17 Warriors.
With KD?
With KD.
The KD one, yeah.
And the 2000-2001 Lakers.
Okay.
So you've got Golden Age MJ. You've got...
This is 72 win team MJs now.
Yes.
Yeah, that year.
You've got the 16-17 Warriors. This was the first year with KD.
Yeah.
Can't remember what their record. I think it was 57-15, and it was something like that.
6 or 7.
Yeah, 67-15. And then the Shaq and Kobe Lakers.
Damn, it's a hard one. I think I'm gonna go Shaq and Kobe Lakers as my cut.
As a cut, yeah.
I think when people talk about the best teams of all time, they're just not in it. Like, no one ever brings them up. Even though I personally have them probably third best team of all time, no one really brings them up with the back-to-back Warriors and the 3P Bulls.
Yeah.
It's always the who's better, the 96-97 Bulls, the 2017 Warriors. So yeah, I would put the Lakers there. Personally, I'd have the Warriors as my bench.
Yeah.
And the Bulls as my start. Personally.
Okay. No.
I just think the Bulls are a better all-round team. Like, is it defense, offense? Like, all their players play defense.
Yeah.
All their players play offense. And the worst part is, like, if you were like, who would win the game, it would all depend on what era the game is played.
I was about to say that. Like, I think it's very subjective.
Because I think if the game was played in today's era, the Warriors would smash them.
Yeah.
But if the game was played in the 90s era, the Bulls would smash them.
Yeah.
Then I also believe if it was played in the 2000s era, in the Lakers era, the Bulls would smash them still. In the 2000s, not the 2010, not the early 2010s, 2000s. I still think the Bulls would beat them there.
I think it's a good hypothetical matchup.
It's just too hypothetical almost.
It's one that you have to go on 2K just to...
Yeah, because it's just... Yeah, like the hand checking was obviously so different. The gameplay was different.
Yeah.
You had the Bulls winning championships and they would score 90 points a game. But then you're saying, so they would score 90 points and MJ would average 35 of them.
Yeah.
The Warriors are scoring 115, 120. So how many, if they were playing with that many points, how many would MJ average type of thing?
Yeah, well, I think a bit...
It's just so...
It comes down to the 3-pointer.
Yeah, and I think also the Bulls, if you just copy and pasted them, they would probably struggle with that 3-point nowadays.
Yeah.
But like if you took into account that they were used to actually, like you gave them a season or you gave them over a season, we're like, oh, this is how we actually play nowadays, they would probably get used to it.
Yeah.
Like, they're that good of a team, but so are the Warriors. So it's a hard one. But I do have the Bulls as my start.
Okay.
Warriors, my bench, Lakers, my cut.
That one, I don't really think you can't really go wrong with it.
No.
Either way, so.
The annoying part is I also had that. Luckily, I always write 3. Because for some reason, you always pick one of them. I had the 3 Peoples, the 3 Pete Lakers, and the back-to-back Warriors.
Okay.
But we've already done it.
Yeah.
So, Ja Morant,
Okay.
Trae Young.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown.
Ja, Trae.
Jaylen. This table's so coofy.
Oh, no.
Maybe I just won't lean on it.
God, I don't know. I might start Ja, bench Brown, and cut Trae.
Okay.
I was about to say Tatum for a sec. I'm not honestly thinking about Tatum. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with that. As good as Trae Young is, he's a little bit too one-sided.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's an offensive engine, but I think Brown's too good on both sides of the ball, and I think Ja as an all-around player is still better than Trae Young. And then I'm just putting Ja above Brown because I love Ja. That's a bit of a bias.
I also think Ja's the number 1 guy. And Jaylen's not.
Well, Ja's that guy.
Yeah. Whereas I was going to say, if you swapped Jaylen and Trae, do you reckon they would get similar results? Or who will have better and worse?
As if Trae was the second option
on the spell 6, and Jaylen was the only option on Atlanta.
I mean, that's a tough question, right? Because so much of what Atlanta does is built around
Trae.
And they're completely different skill sets. So I don't know, that's a tough question.
Because I'm thinking, being a play-in team in a weaker East, would Jaylen get better results? I think maybe he might. I think it might be a little bit better. Like, it wouldn't, if it was any better, it wouldn't be substantial. If it was any worse, it wouldn't be substantial.
I think he would hover around this where he is now. I don't think he gets any better or any worse. I think it's just common.
It's a tough one.
It's the same stats that he would put up.
Trae does put up better stats, but that is because he's the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
I agree with if you're benching a guy, at least he can play both sides of the ball, though.
Yeah.
Trade's one side.
All right, hold on.
So I get that.
Let me hit you with this one, okay?
You're really excited?
This one I was really tough with.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty bad at myself. All right. We got 2016 Kawhi. Where he won DPOY 21 points per game. We have 2019 Paul George. 28 points per game, MVP and Defensive Player of the Year finalist. And 2023 Jason Tatum, where he averaged 27 points per game and they won the championship. But they all of them, I put this down as a little note, they all won All NBA first team that year.
I think it's an easy cut for me. Paul George.
As a color.
I think he's my cut, yeah.
Okay.
I think he's my cut. I'll say this, with 2016, the 2016 Spurs, they were, I think they're almost an underrated team because he got injured in that playoffs. Like, with how good they actually were. No one really talks about it because you had the 73-9 Warriors.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at the stats, what was their home record?
In the playoffs or throughout the regular season?
Throughout the regular season. The Spurs just give me their record.
67-15.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, any other year, if you don't have a 73-9 team, you're getting remembered for that year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, Kawhi's effect on winning was very high then, because that was after like Timmy. That might have been the year Timmy retired or whatever, but that was after the actual golden era Spurs were really the golden era Spurs.
Oh, they still had a lot of the same team though.
Yeah, but they weren't.
Like they were older, but
That's what I'm saying. That was
good, obviously.
They were good, but they weren't the same, right, as the golden era Spurs. And I think Kawhi kind of took the load from him. I'm going to bench Kawhi. I'm going to start Tatum, and that's more of a you won the championship and you're in the MVP conversations. I'm going to start Tatum.
But if you're in the MVP conversations, why ain't cutting Paul George? Because for me, I cut a
So they were all in the MVP conversations.
No, MVPG was.
They were all in.
No, I put finalists for it, right?
What did he cut?
He was third that year.
Third.
Yeah, third in MVP, second in DPOY.
How are they going to postseason?
Oh, first round exit. Yeah. But I'm talking about their seasons.
Yeah, he had a great. Yeah, but you're also picking. You got to remember as well. You're picking seasons that are like this at top, right?
Right.
Like these almost perfect seasons. Like they're very good seasons, right? So you are nitpicking when you're picking between them.
Yeah, if I'm talking individual season.
Yeah, winning takes into account. Because when you're having such a great season, you have an effect on winning.
Yeah.
A first round exit's very different to a championship.
Oh, 100%.
So that's why I do have Jason Tate.
I'm thinking more individual seasons. So I would start Paul George. I would then.
What did they all average?
And I would cut Kawhi for what?
Would they all average like points per game, rebound, assist?
I only wrote down points. But
Give me points then.
Paul George was 28. Tatum was 27. Kawhi was 21.
So Paul George and Tatum were pretty close.
Yeah.
So I would still have Tatum ahead of him, yeah. If the numbers are close, the end of seasons were close. They were both all first at Team All-NBA.
Yeah.
They were all in that MVP conversation. I get Paul George was third, but Tatum was probably fourth or fifth.
Yeah, but when you look back.
And then Tatum got the championship. I stand by it. Yeah, I'm having Tatum as my start. And I'm going to cut Paul George. And that's more because I think I'd rather have Kawhi for a team than Paul George. I would rather have Kawhi than Paul George. Yeah. I stand on it. I stand on that point.
I would still start Paul George. I'd start Paul George. I'd bench Tatum. I'm going to cut Kawhi.
Yeah, nah. I've got Paul George in my cut. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That's just the way I feel on it. All right. For you.
Yeah.
David Robinson.
Okay.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
Kevin Garnett.
Are we just talking careers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say careers. I was going to say their best seasons, but then I was going to have to think about which ones.
No, let's go careers.
Yeah. They all have. I think Robinson only got the one championship because he retired before the next one. So yeah, I think they've all got one championship.
Yeah.
All got an MVP. I don't know if David Robinson got one.
I think you did, yeah.
Think he did.
I'd start KG.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, who was it? Dirk and David Robinson?
Mm-hmm.
I'd start KG. I would. This one's tough. I think I'd bench David Robinson and I'd cut Dirk.
Mm.
But I wouldn't be mad if he had it the other way around.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're KG to definite start.
Regardless, I think I would start KG.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we get it to, I would lean David Robinson. But you could probably convince me to.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, how much does the 2011 run take into account for you? Just because of
Most of it for Dirk.
for Dirk, I feel like that without that 2011 run, he's not near these guys.
No. He's still probably
He's
the
great.
best Maverick, like, ever.
Yeah,
Even if they didn't win that championship.
since Luka's been traded,
Yeah.
he can't take that reign again.
Who knows? Maybe Anthony Davis will have a couple of really good seasons.
He's gonna win like 2 championships.
Yeah, no, I think I would lean that way.
Okay,
That's what I would go with.
I could say that. I think, yeah, we're only going off a 1 season sample, really, when people think of Dirk. As much as Dirk was a great player, when people think of Dirk, they think of the 2011.
That's just immediately what comes.
That's just immediately what comes to mind. Whereas when you think of Robinson, you kind of think of his career as a whole.
Yeah.
Same as Kevin Garnett. Yeah, you might think of the 08 team, but you think of that more as a team than just Kevin Garnett. Whereas you can go, oh, that Timberwolves KG.
That's when I think
Was that
Kevin Garnett.
East?
When I think of Kevin Garnett, I think of Timberwolves.
Well, we would think of Timberwolves, but a lot of the more people who are newer would probably just think of the Celtics KG.
Yeah.
Whereas we would go, oh, that Timberwolves KG was a beast.
Yeah, I love KG.
Yeah.
He's definitely starting.
He's my starter, yeah. I agree. And then I'm flip-flopping between the other two, but I think because of when I think of Dirk, it's just the 1 season, I'll go David Robinson.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
I'll say that.
But now we need to get into some breaking news.
As of, for us,
Table.
4 o'clock this morning,
Yeah. The NBA world.
Malone
Mm-hmm.
and the Nuggets general manager both were fired.
Yeah. Yeah. Both of them being given the
sack.
Yeah.
I think they have 3 games left of the regular season. The play-in starts next Tuesday,
Yeah, I think they might.
so you're literally 1 week away
Not even.
from the play-in,
And they've called it.
and there's a chance that if they lose a couple of games, they're 4th at the moment in the West, but they're only half a game out of the play-in because 5 through 8
Are all
are all tied, right? So the Nuggets,
well, they're one. Yeah, they're 1 win out, but the same amount of losses.
yeah, so that's what they're half a game, right?
Yeah.
So if they go on a 2-game losing streak,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't that hard, they're 3-7 in their last 10.
Yeah.
They could be in that play-in, and kind of similar to what we said about Taylor Jenkins last week, which we'll touch on. I think the timing of this is just terrible.
I don't get it.
I'm not sure I understand it either. I think he himself said a few things that made it sound like he'd lost the locker room. And that's big, especially in playoff times, especially when you have personalities like that Nuggets team does.
Yeah.
But I don't know, GMs as well is kind of crazy.
I think I don't love the fact that there's now 2 head coaches getting fired from playoff teams around the corner from the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, as a franchise now, say, we're in to win this year. Because you're not. You're not making an assistant coach a team if you're in it to win this year. The Nuggets have now pretty much written off the rest this year, which is fine if they have a plan for next year.
I don't know if I would go that far.
Well, I don't see a path for him to win now.
Well, I mean,
Like, I get he lost the
they're
locker.
still good enough, right, to go and win any series.
I don't see them winning multiple series, though. I think now they would have, without a proper head coach, they're going to struggle to get out of that first round, and I don't know if they can get out of the second. Because if, let's say they get through, if we go right now, will they beat the Clippers?
I'd not take him.
I'd say maybe, yeah. It'd be a really close series. Okay. Do they beat the Thunder? No. Let's say they drop. They get to the 6th seed, just to put them on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah.
do they beat the Lakers first round?
Yeah, probably.
You reckon?
Yeah.
See, I don't reckon they do.
I reckon they would.
I reckon the Lakers.
They're not being the Lakers and playing really well, but
I reckon the Lakers would beat them. But let's say we go with you and they don't. Then they got to go to the second round, and they will play rather
Houston,
Timberwolves.
yeah, or Memphis.
I think we'll just go. I'm going off like what it is right now.
Okay. All right.
So Timberwolves, Rockets. Do they win that round against either of them? I think they beat the Rockets.
I think they'd probably beat Minnesota.
And I think it would be really close against Minnesota. But then again, it comes down to the Thunder. No.
Yeah.
I think if they play the Warriors, no. I think if they play the Lakers, no.
See, I haven't beaten the Warriors.
Well, you hadn't beaten the Lakers too, so I wasn't surprised that you hadn't beaten the Warriors, right?
I'll go 50-50 on Lakers.
So they're the three teams.
Over most other teams.
Yeah, like they're the only three teams I have really beating them.
Yeah.
But without the head coach, I need to see how they play. And as you said, if they keep going on a bad run, do they just keep falling?
I don't think their team is really going to change a whole lot. I don't think Mike Malone leaving is going to change the game plan a lot. They play a certain way and they have for so long that
It'll change.
Isn't going to step up.
It'll change small things within the game that the assistant coach isn't used to doing.
I don't think he will though. I think they'll play the exact same. I think the assistant coach is going to come in and be like, all right, we're going to make changes a week out from the plan, which they could end up in. I think he's just going to be there just as a fill-in. They're going to play the exact same way that they have all year. And then they're just going to go and hire someone else that they like on the off-season.
So, they have Sacramento, Memphis, Houston to finish. I think they could drop two of those.
They could
realistically drop three, but I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt against Sacramento for now. That game is today.
Yep.
But I don't see them beating Memphis or Houston. Unless Houston rest plays that last one.
I don't know if... I don't think they would though, like, because...
You got such a big break.
Well, yeah, I think Houston pretty much has the 2 seed locked up, right?
That's what I'm saying. Houston might rest players.
But I don't think they will, because if they win that game and the Nuggets drop down, or if, like, if they lose a game, whatever, doesn't matter on the outcome, that changes. Or it has the potential to change who they first in the first round.
Yeah.
So I think they'll do whatever they can. I think it depends how the next couple of days go in terms of like seeding.
Yeah.
And then that depends on whether they'll play everyone or whether they'll rest people, if it makes a massive difference to who they versus the first round.
Yeah, I do think it'll have a pretty big effect come playoff time. I do reckon this dropping, like just this year, because I think they must, if they're doing it, they've got a plan. They've got a plan for the rest, right? They would have an idea of who they want to hire, all those type of things, right?
Yeah.
But I think for right now, this season, it's a pretty much a write-off. Try that.
Oh, okay.
Does it lean less?
Oh yeah, that's gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if I would call it a write-off. Like I said, I think this is just Mike Malone. Like, don't get me wrong, was I shocked? Yes.
But hearing about all the locker room and seeing the conference of him losing it, I'm not shocked that I'm shocked to have it now and not the off season.
Yeah, I think it must have been pretty bad, and the players mustn't have been, really responding to them at all for those comments to be made. And then, 2 days later, he gets fired. Like, it must have been a pretty bad situation, especially if they wanted to just tough it out for the postseason. Yeah. So, like I said, I reckon the assistant coach will step up. I don't think a whole lot's going to change.
Yeah, I just think they won't be as good. And I think they'll struggle a little bit come postseason time.
It could also be the opposite, but it could be like maybe they've been playing not as good recently, and because they've all been a little bit shitty with Mastermind.
It
And-
could be a thing.
Maybe having him out of there in general, because maybe they're not responding to him because he's, I don't know, toxic head coach or something.
Maybe a shit his job.
Yeah, made it.
To be fair, I never really loved him. He's always complaining. He's always yelling at a ref. And I'm
Yeah.
like, mate, you've got to stop that.
Like, if they didn't respect him and they picked the right assistant coach to step up and take his spot, there's been a couple of times where it's kind of lit a fire under the team, and it's had the opposite effect of what everyone's thought.
Well, let's move on.
Stepped it up a little.
Let's move on to the one you want to talk about, which is similar to this conversation, the Grizzlies. You said you had some points.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it really funnels into this really well.
Yeah.
Because I think this is what your point you're trying to make with the Nuggets right now is going to be a point you're going to think of making similar with the Grid.
So we talked a lot about last week, Taylor Jenkins getting fired, and we were both kind of on the same page, right? What wasn't a smart idea? Why'd they do that? There wasn't really, unlike this Michael Malone situation, there wasn't really a whole lot of news that came out surrounding it. It kind of just happened, right? I went and did a little bit of a deep dive because I was curious. I had some free time, so I had a look. And I've only watched like a select few like Grizzlies games this year, right?
Yeah.
But I went back, I watched some, I was listening to this podcast, and the reason, and I talked to you a bit about it last week. Jar said that he was unhappy. That's the reason that he, got purported about it. I think him getting fired was probably the right decision, because not only did they fire him, they also fired an assistant coach that they hired in the most recent offseason to kind of rework that offense. And that offense is like a motion offense, right? To break it down. Everyone cutting, everyone moving. They don't really want ISOs. And the biggest thing was no pick and rolls.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at Jar and you look at Zach Edey, you look at Jaren, you look at Desmond Beck, right? So there's a few guys in their starting lineup. They abuse the pick and roll, especially Jar. Jar loves the pick and roll.
Yeah.
And they did the lowest amount of pick and rolls this season because of that new offense.
Yeah.
Because they wanted Jar to cut and then go hang in the corner and then cut again. That's why his usage rate is so low. That's why maybe Desmond Bain is having a better season. Because he's one of those guys that can kind of thrive off of that motion offense.
Yep.
But I think the reason he got fired is because since the new year, they had a losing record.
Yeah.
Every team kind of picked up on their offense and it wasn't working as well. The defense has always kind of been...
They've dropped in the standings. Now they're in that playing conversation where they were pretty much out of it.
Was that like right? They
had them there, though. They were in that conversation to get 2.
So I don't think the firing was really that bad, because since they've gotten rid of him and the assistant coach, they're using the motion offense still, but it's not what they're only relying on. They're using more pick and rolls. They're using Jar more as a ball handler rather than a screen setter and a cutter and a corner catch and throw shooter, which we all know he's not. So I really don't think it was that bad of a decision.
I just didn't like that the report was Jar didn't like his mentality. And I was like, but Jar has proven to not have
I think
the smartest mentality either. So
I think the way they worded it, the way that they worded it wasn't that.
I think, but if that, and I said, if that was the reasoning, I hate it.
Yeah.
If there's more, I want to know.
Well, that's right. This is the more, right? And after looking,
so it's good to see there's different
kind of makes sense.
There's a different reason.
Because if I'm Jar, I don't want to be sitting in the corner.
No, that's what the 12-player Jar is. He's a slasher. He comes in, he directs, he's aggressive in the paint.
He's a pick and roll player, and when you don't run any of them,
it does diminish him.
And that's half the reason I think Zach Edey's looked good and this year. Like, he was really dominant in college. Did you follow him in college?
Not really.
He was really dominant, right?
Yeah.
He was really good. He's been nowhere near as good this year as I thought he was going to be. But half of it is because he's a 7'4" big who thrives in the pick and roll. And you've got one of the best pick and roll players in the league in Jar.
And you're not running
you
it.
just don't use it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it. And if that's the more reasoning, I get the firing.
Yeah.
I still don't love that it happened a week and a half outside the playoffs.
I still think the timing of it is terrible.
I think you've got to do it outside the regular season if you want to have like a championship year.
No, well, if this is the reason, right, then I think they probably could have done it sooner.
Or later. Pick one. Don't do it in the middle.
Yeah, I think the timing wasn't the best.
Yeah.
I think they should have done it sooner, but I'll know what we can do about it now. Point is, I think it's not as
For their future, it's going to be a good idea.
Yeah. In the long run.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Something else I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I'm confused. What do you want to speak about with the Kings? What's going on?
Okay, so
Let's have a look at them.
Kings season overall, or even that last couple of years, has been a little bit weird, right? Because a few years back, they had that series against the Warriors where they looked really good. That was the first time making the postseason in 20-something years.
Yeah.
And yes, they didn't win that series, but they looked good. And I was like, all right, they're going to be back next season. They might make a few changes, but they look solid. And they just haven't been since. This year itself has been weird with them trading away De'Aaron mid-season. That's obviously a big loss.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yes, that was pretty funny. He's still their team leader in points per game and assists per game.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't shock me, but it's just funny to me that he's still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a shocking move. Like, it was weird.
And then the other day, I saw that DeMar DeRozan, who only just signed there last offseason, and Sabonis both want to go and have meetings with the front office to discuss their future with Sacramento. Right? So I was wondering, if you were the Kings GM, what would you look to do? Would you go into a full rebuild? Would you retool? Would you tell those guys, hey, in a tough situation, De'Aaron left halfway through the year, we're going to make a playoff push next season. They've kind of been in the play-in 2 years in a row now.
Yeah, bit of a lull.
What would you do? Like, you had to trade away your star player, and you've got your other two all-stars saying,
okay,
we're not really happy.
I'm going to get up their roster. If I'm them, DeMar and Sabonis both want meetings. I'm probably... It would all depend on what they feel, like what they say. Well, if they come in and they go, look, we don't see it going forward. We want out. We want to win now. We just want out. And they were like, I want out.
Let's say, hypothetically, for the scenario, they come in, they just want to know what the plan is.
They just want to know what the plan is?
Yeah.
I would tell them, look, last year we had a bad year. De'Aaron left halfway through the year. Pretty much what you said before. We'll be back next year. But they need to make another move in my eyes too. You've seen the Zach LaVine DeMar DeRozan not work. So I wouldn't mind getting rid of one of them.
Who would you lean? Because if I was them, right, even though DeRozan just signed there, he's probably the one that I would get rid of.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would honestly, whichever one you'd rather. If it's DeMar that wants that meeting and DeMar says I would like out, bang, DeMar, you're the one I'm getting rid of.
Yeah.
But I do think Zach LaVine's quite inconsistent.
Oh, yeah.
He's also younger by 6 years.
Yeah.
So maybe DeMar. You get rid of DeMar, you probably get... You'd rather go all in and you get a guy, you get a star, to be a number one option, over Zach, over DeMontis, that puts you in the playoffs, or you go in and get a few pieces to strengthen the team.
Yeah.
I don't really know who's there to get. Like, how many picks do they have? That's the thing as well. Like, have they given away picks in the De'Aaron trade, or have they gotten them?
I think they got one.
They got one.
All right, going forward,
Mm-hmm.
they have. Oh, that's who they're dropping. Yeah, future draft picks.
Yeah.
Going forward, they have
Mm-hmm.
pretty much their first and their second round pick
Mm-hmm.
every year.
Do you think they could make a push to get Kevin Durant or DeMar DeRozan?
Like as a sign and trade?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Sacramento, you'd have to give up a little bit more than that.
You would, but I'm saying, could they do it, you think? DeMar, maybe cut a few picks. Could they then give up maybe?
All right, if you're the Phoenix Suns,
You'd probably have to give up like a Trey Lyles or a Keegan Murray, though.
I would probably say Keegan Murray.
You'd probably have to give him up.
But if you're the Kings, not the Kings, sorry, the Suns,
Yeah.
and I came at you with the offer of, because they're going to get a couple for KD, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
If I came at you with a DeMar, Keegan Murray, and some first round picks, and like someone else, I'm like Doug McDermott
Yeah.
for Kevin Durant. That's a pretty decent package.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, yeah,
They could get it done.
DeMar probably doesn't really help the Suns.
But you get the picks. That's
Is it
more
weird?
as long.
Keegan Murray's, he's solid.
Mm-hmm.
That could be an interesting package. I actually hadn't thought of KD.
You could get a KD. I honestly kind of like this. The only thing I can think of that would get them back into playoffs.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you kind of have to do a rebuild.
I
I think they could get KD, though. I think they could do it.
think they could give a decent package.
It's whether KD wants to go there.
Even if it's not DeRozan,
Mm-hmm.
you could swap that out for Sabonis and trade DeMar somewhere else. Just realistically, you don't want Levine, DeRozan, and KD on the same team because it's the exact same situation as the Suns, just different names. Right, you've got 3 scorers. You don't really do it.
Well, that's why I think you need to get DeMar gone.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? So if you go and get KD, whether you throw in either Sabonis or DeRozan,
Mm-hmm.
if it's for KD, you
I
can't
think if
find of the other unless
if I'm the Kings, though, if I had to keep Sabonis, Levine, or DeRozan to fit with KD, I want Sabonis.
yeah.
He's the one I'm keeping. So I think you would give away DeMar, even if you have to give away a little bit more at him.
Yeah,
Because Sabonis would be a way better fit.
it'd be interesting to see how it.
But I reckon that would be. It depends if KD wants to go there, but I like it.
That's a fit that I hadn't really thought of, but
I like it.
I don't mind that one at all. That's like,
Mm.
yeah, that's a good little pickup.
I reckon that's what would have to be done for him.
That could be very solid.
Mm.
That could be very solid.
Yeah.
All right. UFC, let's get started.
Let's go.
Some UFC, right? I know 314 is this weekend. Let's talk about some of these other fights that got announced.
Yeah, let's get him up first.
So the biggest one that got announced,
Yeah.
Marab and Sean O'Malley rematch.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I like it for the sport. I like it for O'Malley to get his second chance to prove himself because he didn't really put up. And Marab kind of went in and took it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't that much of a fight. But I don't see him weak.
You don't see Sean winning?
Nah. I think it's just going to be Marab's going to come in. I think he's going to out-grapple him again. I think he's going to struggle to prevent the takedown. And I'm happy it's rebooked, but I don't see a winning for Sean. He would have to knock out Marab.
I think that's how it has to go, right? I think if it goes decision, it's
Mhm.
Marab.
And I think
The only thing,
historically, the grapplers beat
the strikers.
the strikers.
Yes. The only thing that's got me
Mm-hmm.
And like the only reason I'm looking into this is because I love Sean O'Malley.
Mm-hmm.
He's said a couple of times that he was fighting most of that last fight with a broken hip.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how true that is. Don't know if that's just a cop out.
I haven't seen any videos or anything.
But if that is true,
Mm-hmm.
I think we can both agree that
Mm.
the first title fight, he didn't look like himself.
No.
Right? Very passive. Like, yeah, Marab looked great. He did really well. But he didn't, like, Sean didn't look.
Sean would have to himself knock him out early or rock him early.
Yeah.
He'd have to catch him early, at least.
I'm interested to see how his takedown defense looks, because last fight, there was really nothing he can do.
And that's what makes me think, I just reckon Marab will manhandle him again.
I hope not, but there's like,
I mean, I hope not, but I do think that's how it's going to go.
yeah.
Then Ian Gary steps in versus Carlos Prates.
That was the big news.
What do you think? Because it's now not on UFC 314. Now a fight night.
No, it's the fight night, yeah.
Which is good. What do you reckon?
I think Ian Gary wins. But I don't think it's by outstriking him. I think Ian Gary's very smart and he'll do similar. Did you watch him fight Michael Bennett Page?
No.
No, it's it. MVP striker, right? It's what he does.
Yeah.
For that entire fight, Ian Gary just took him to the ground and pound, ground control, and that's how he won that fight. Okay. And I think he does the same sort of in here. Because Prates is a striker. We haven't seen a whole lot of his takedown defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Ian Gary's clever enough to just play it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe try and go for a submission finish.
Yep.
Rather than try and stand and angle him.
Yeah. For me, I have Ian Gary winning. I love this fight.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that Ian Gary has now stepped in twice.
Me too.
And they're both dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, he's not
stepping in on an easy fight.
Oh no, Shavkat was a rough one to step in. Like, he was never going to... Before the fight, no one thought he had a chance.
No,
he did
really good.
He did amazing.
He did really well.
Prates, I think he will win, but it just shows how much of a fighter he is. Like, he's such a real fighter.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, call me up, I'm there. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
I absolutely love it from him.
I'm so excited.
I think it is amazing to see from him.
I know that'll be an interesting one because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he comes out and he's like, nah, I got all this slack for, just holding down MVP, I'm going to stand and bang, it'll be a good fight.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be an amazing fight. Moving on, we're up to UFC 314.
Yeah.
We're going to do like this. I'll ask you who you have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to read out the fight. You're going to have 20 seconds to tell me who you have winning and how. And a minute to tell me why.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Each fight. And then I'm going to have a minute to tell you why I agree or disagree.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Are we just doing main card?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do main card. Looking through the prelims.
There's a couple of good prelims.
There's some good ones.
But everyone's there for main card.
Yeah, the main card's the main one. All right. You ready?
Yep.
We have a light heavyweight bout. Nikita Krylov, number 8 ranked fighter versus number 11 Dominic Reyes.
I got Dominic Reyes and I've got him by KO.
Okay.
He's on a 2-fight win streak at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looked really good in both of them.
Yep. Okay.
And I'm just there for the Dominic Reyes return.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think he fell off a little bit after that John Jones controversial loss.
Yep.
And I just want to see him come back a little bit.
Fair.
So I'd like to see him get a dominant win here.
Mm-hmm. I have Krylov
Mm-hmm.
with submission or decision. Because I think if you're Krylov, you're coming into this fight, and you're saying, for my career, I need to win.
Yeah.
And I think He'll come in
Is he?
and he'll grapple.
Is Karlov older?
I don't know the exact age. Why is his age not there? I can't see his age.
I don't know. I'll try and find it. I know he's been in the UFC longer.
Mm-hmm. But while saying that, when it comes to significant strikes, he's landing nearly as many as Dominic Reyes. It's not a big gap. It's a very tight one.
Yeah.
Less than a full landing per minute difference of significant strikes. When it comes to absorbed, more than one less. He's at 2.5. Dominic Reyes is at 3.6.
Mm-hmm.
Absorbed. So he's got a better defense, similar, a little bit worse striking, but grappling takes the cake by a lot. Okay? Now, Dominic Reyes has good takedown defense, but I do think it'll be Krylov just going, okay, I'm going to lay on you.
Well, Krylov has 16 submission wins.
And I reckon
When you say first round finishes.
And I reckon he's going to lie on him. And I think Reyes' defense will keep him from getting submitted. And I think he'll win by a decision or he'll get submitted.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's going to be one of those ones where it's going to be a grappler win.
I hope not. But yeah.
All right, we need to move on because it's been over a minute. All right. We have Rodriguez versus... Wait. No. First we got Bryce Mitchell versus Juan Silva.
Give me Juan Silva.
Juan Silva, yeah.
KO.
Yep.
I mean... I don't know. I just think he's really good. He's a cow puncher. He's relentless.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Bryce Mitchell. Like, he's funny, but he's,
I also have Juan Silva, so I'm agreeing with you, yeah.
So, I think everyone just kind of wants to see Bryce Mitchell get knocked out.
I'm agree with you. I have Juan Silva as well. Right, we got number 5, Rodriguez versus unranked Patricio Pitbull.
This one will be interesting, right? Because Pitbull's coming over from UFC, where he was the featherweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's already said that he's viewing this as a title defense, which scares me a little bit.
Okay. Who have you got?
He's really good. I have Rodriguez there.
Okay. How?
I would say decision. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's very flashy. I enjoy watching him. I think it'll be a really good fight.
3-round fight.
I think it's going to be a very technical fight.
Okay.
And I think both guys are going to come out pretty aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got Rodriguez.
Fair enough. I thought this was really hard, but I didn't have a pick because I'm not seeing enough of Pitbull.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just say Rodriguez just because I thought it would be unfair. So I don't know who I have winning. I want Rodriguez to win, but I'm keen to just watch this fight.
It's just going to be a good fight.
I'm really keen to just watch it, So yeah, it'll be a very good fight. We're going to move on. A fun fight. Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett.
I've got Paddy Pimblett by submission.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know, I just think Chandler, yes, he's more powerful,
but
we all know that he's got to look like he has a game plan going into fights. I think he's just going to go out there, do some reckless stuff, and I think Paddy's going to capitalize on that. And yeah, so I have him by submission. He's not knocking him out. I would be very surprised if he wins by knockout. But yeah, I reckon Paddy felt this one by submission.
I just think Chandler's going to do something dumb. He always does.
Yeah.
Just something that puts him in a bad spot.
Always something.
He could be on top and he'll do something stupid, put himself in a bad position, and it'll be bang, over.
Yeah.
And I think Paddy has got the talent to do that to him. See how I go? Then we have the big fight. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez for the featherweight title. Who have you got? And how?
God, this one has been so hard to pick. We might need a bit more than a minute for this one.
I'll let you have more than a minute. This is why I wanted to be quick with the other ones, because I knew we're on a time constraint like always when it comes to this. And I didn't want to be when it came to this fight.
My heart says Volk, but my brain says Lopez.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think everyone can kind of agree on that. Everyone wants Volk to win. But how does his chin look? He looks fit. He looks really good.
I agree though. How does
Oh, shin lock. How does his chin look? He had 2 back-to-back really bad knockouts. How does it look?
I do think I could see
Lopez is powerful.
I would say this is how it's going to go. Lopez will catch him,
Yeah.
pounce on that, hit him a few times, and then submit him.
What I've been saying to everyone that what I've been saying is if Volk can make it past the first 2 rounds, I think he's got it.
Yeah. I think he'll gas out.
If Lopez is going to get in, it's going to be at the start of the fight because I think he's going to come out.
All guns blazing,
Yeah.
knowing I have to catch him now. I want Volk to win so badly,
Yeah.
but I agree. I just don't see it.
I'm still going to put money in Volk.
Like, I have Volk. It's more of a faith thing. I really hope I'm wrong, but my brain is saying Diego Lopez,
Oh, God, I really hope he wins.
but I want Volk to win so badly. So I'm going to say Volk.
As long as he doesn't get knocked out again. If he gets knocked out again.
But I think that's the only way Diego Lopez wins, is if Volk.
But he's such a good all-around fighter. Like, I don't think he has a win by submission in the UFC. Yeah?
Well, has he lasted 5 rounds? I think he might gas out.
No, this is his first 5-round fight.
And he finishes most of his fights.
Overall, I think he's won every fight except for the Ige one by finish. Yeah, he's only had like 4 fights in the UFC. And he's won all of them except that Ige one by finish.
I reckon Diego Lopez might gas out.
He has 12 wins by submission in his career, though. So that's what I mean. He's a good, like, all-around fighter. If you catch him either way,
It's going to be a very close fight.
it's going to be a great fight. I think Volk needs to come out and start quite defensively.
He's going to need to start strong in his defense. He's going to need to start strong in, like, he's not going to catch me. He's not going to get me. Kind of how he started with Topuria first round. He was very sound at that first round.
Yeah.
But he needs to keep it up for the second and the third before I would be, like, confident in saying, yes, Volk, you've got this.
Yeah.
Those first 3 rounds, I'll be really nervous.
I'd like to see him play it pretty smart and just toss him out in the first round. Yeah. Play defensive, maybe get him to the...
Because Lopez could go for one early and Volk could catch him.
Yeah.
Volk could be like, bam. And that could shock Lopez because he hasn't really been caught.
No, I don't think so. Not really.
So I reckon Volk could do that.
Yeah.
I would love
It'd
Volk
be
to win. I just really one love.
Oh, I didn't know the shorts as well. The custom shorts.
No.
Let me run it up. We're going to get a live reaction.
Okay. So we come from the guy who has got his own Charles Oliveira shorts.
Oh, mate, I'm going to start a collection. These are
You need to get the Brazilian ones, man.
like jerseys. What Brazilian ones?
The Brazilian Charles ones.
No, for the custom ones.
I know, but the Brazilian ones look so cool. No, they look cool.
They're
I like that. I like that.
They're so sick.
The green and gold for the Aussies, but he's kind of got that gladiator vibe.
Well, he's talked about how he wanted to, show up his Greek heritage a little bit.
There we have.
But he wanted to keep it pretty Aussie.
Yeah, I like it. He's got that gladiator vibe going on there.
I love him. If he wins.
I know gladiator's not really Greek, but that's kind of the vibe I get from it.
Still. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, if he wins, I'm gonna snag the fair.
Like it. If he loses, I'm burning them. So I said,
Oh my god.
I won't talk to anyone for days if he loses. Let's come from the Celtics fan who's keen for the NBA playoffs. I'll be like throwing the towel. Like, we better win the championship if he loses.
Oh god, I hope I'm genuinely nervous. Like, there's only been a couple of fights where it's coming up and I've felt nervous. And this is
I was like this for the Topuria fight.
I was like you're saying, and I was like this for Oliveira Chandler.
Yeah.
Especially with the back of the hand shots. Oh my god, I was sitting there.
Yeah.
Screaming. I was sitting in the airport. I was at the airport. I was early as in the morning. Near screaming at my phone. selling the ref, call back of the head, Chandler, you're a dog.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There hasn't been too many fights I've been this nervous for, hey? But I'm one nervous boy.
It's, oh my God. I hope you
But that'll wrap up podcast number 6 of Off the Bench.
number 6.
First one out of the month. Good little start here we got going.
Mm-hmm.
We're going pretty good. So yeah, follow us on our socials if you enjoy this. We have an Instagram, Off the Bench Pod, a YouTube and a Spotify account. If you'd rather watch it, go to the YouTube. If you'd rather listen, go to the Spotify. We'd love to hear any more things that you would like to see in our videos.
Yep. Like, comment, subscribe,
Yeah.
leave comments on YouTube, on our Instagram, DM us. If there's anything that you want to see in particular.
Yep.
If there's any, I don't know, sort of, like games or anything that you want us to do instead of these start bench cuts.
We'd like to see changed up a little bit. We'll get creative.
Yeah, send us recommendations. Send us anything that you would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that, I don't know, you have seen that maybe we've missed, send it to us.
Yep. Yeah. Watch for more.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
Laters.
Laters.